So yesterday, I was at the gym, and it was a leg day. So I went into the area that normally has yoga, and yoga had finished, and there was a yoga teacher there that I've known probably for 8 or 9 years. And this teacher has always expressed a little bit of an interest in the uniqueness that I am. And she said, so I watched this movie the other day, and this movie was called The Secret. Is that anything like what you teach? And I said very clearly, it's at the very surface. It is metaphysics light. And I really want to talk about that because if you recall in the movie The Secret, John Asneroff talks about, he's with his son, and how he pulls out this vision board that he had done 5 years earlier. And there on the vision board is this incredible mansion, and he didn't realize, but he was now living in that exact home. Do you know what I want to say about that? That's poppycock. That's out and out poppycock. Because it cannot possibly happen that way. And that's what, remember in the movie also, it talked about the genie and how ask and the genie will give to you. That's all you have to do is ask. And so people were brought up with this idea that if I just ask for something, it's going to come to me. And then afterwards, there's this whole outcry, well, this stuff doesn't work. But there's a saying in religious realms, and I'm going to take that saying and I'm going to apply it in a way that we can use it today. And that is that God can only do for us what it can do through us. And I think that's really critical because think about this. We embody the idea that there's an infinite power and presence. If it's infinite, it means it's omnipresent, it's omniscient, and omnipotent. Meaning it's everywhere present, it's all-knowing, and it's all-powerful. So if this omnipresence is everywhere, all-powerful, all-knowing, and it's the very basis of all religious teachings, all religions talk about this aspect, how they practice it is another thing. So if it is always present, then it is expressing itself as me, and as you, and as everyone. And within this power and presence, guess what? It's all powerful. So the same power that it is that used to create the cosmos is the power that we use to create our lives. So the secret is the power to create your life is within you. It's within you. Now the key is, what do we do? So I want to go further with it and take you to, we are powerful creators. Our first job is to recognize that there's a power within us. Recognize that there is something within us greater. If you are sitting still and you're calm, you'll know that you're bigger than you think you are. You'll know that you are not your body, but that you have a body. You'll know that you are not your mind, but you have a mind. You will know that you are not your emotions, but you have emotions. And you see, when we forget that, we let the idea that we are our body, we let the idea that we are our mind, and we let the idea that our emotions who we are, and we take ourselves down this rabbit hole that seems to be one filled with pain, misery, disconnection, judgment, guilt, and you name every other quality. Now, when you come up and you realize that there is an awareness, a consciousness that is unique to you, that's connected to all that is, that has so chosen to be on the planet at this time, with this body, with this mind, with these emotions, so that you can take this into the world and fully experience it, wow, you now know that you have a power within you. Yeah, well, let me put it this way. You understand you have a power within you. There's a difference between understanding and knowing. Next, we've got to learn how to use the power. This is really critical. It's not just I ask. There's so much more to that, and I'm going to go into that at a lot of depth. And we have to use our power for definite purposes. I hear so many times, yesterday morning in the gym again, when I asked this young person, what did you want? God has a plan for me. Can I say this once and only once? God doesn't care. God really doesn't care what you do. Do you think an infinite power and presence in which you are one with, that has given itself, because it has complete freedom, you have complete freedom, do you think it cares what you do? That's a misnomer. What you want to do, what God's plan is, what's burning inside of you to do. Is it to be a healer? Is it to be a teacher? Is it to be a photographer? Is it to play music? Is it to write a book? Is it to do insurance and serve people through insurance? Is it to build sustainable businesses? Is it to be a connector of people? Is it to be a mother? Is it to be a father? What is within you right now that is burning to come out? That's the plan that the God in you wants to be expressed. And you see, when we can recognize that plan, now we direct the power. Okay, we direct the power. See, our one and only responsibility is to fully align ourselves with our desires. So now we're going to get into the meat. I go back to 1992. Some of you weren't born then, but on that time, I had a desire that I wanted a luxury vehicle. I really wanted a luxury vehicle. And I looked at everything on the market. And I wanted the Lexus LS 400 at the time. And then I went out and I saw this new car that came out. It was a Mazda 929. And I looked at that car, and that car was strikingly gorgeous. So I cut the picture out of the magazine. I put it in my office. I was on the 15th floor of the building at 10,000 North Central. There's a big building. It used to have a sign that said Unitron on the top. I had a top office. I was a VP of marketing there. I planted that picture up there, and I looked at it every day. And you know, that car never came. I was thinking about it. I had a picture of it. I was visualizing it. So one day I decided to go, I wonder how much that car really costs. Next question, right? So I go to the dealer. And I go to the dealer and I said, so tell me about this car. And he says, well, it's a $35,000 car. Well, we're back in 1992. $35,000 is a very expensive vehicle then. And I said, what would it take to buy it? Well, to buy it is this. But if you want to lease it, we can do it for $508 a month. That's a lot of money back then, right? So I sat down and I took into contemplation and I said, where's my spending at this time? Because I had 2 little children at the time, I had a wife, we were working in that. So I went through our budget. And right then I was spending $320 for my payment on a car right then. So I needed to figure out, could I justify that? So in my mind, I came to the idea, yes, I could. I justified not only the car, but that. Now, here's the thing. Then I took action. And I went to several dealers, and I priced, and I found who would give me the car. You see, I drove home with the car in an afternoon. But I didn't just pray. You see, you've got to pray and move your feet. This is the key thing. People say to me, Lee, you get up every week or whenever you get up or in classes and you talk about how easy relationships are for you. Well, relationships really are easy for me because I've got a formula that I use. So if you have a formula that works, you dream about what you want, you think about what you want, you speak about what you want, you act as if it's already there, and then as you're facing whatever situation comes up, you come from the standpoint, if I was in that relationship, how would I ask? What do I need to become? So when a crisis comes up in a relationship, you have to ask, okay, if I'm going to be in full love and I'm in crisis, what do I have to be in that? And I become it, and then you avoid the crisis with your partner. You see, it's your intention and then followed up with your actions afterwards that cause the power within you to work, because you've got to become an energetic vibration to it. So as a minister, I cannot be political. because it's part of the separation of church and state. Does that make sense to you? But there are certain things that I'm not going to be political on, I'm going to be constitutional on. And the thing that I'm very constitutional on is the freedom of religion. And I believe that this country is the example of that beyond anything in the world. And that we have to honor and respect that everyone has a right to worship or not worship however best suits them. And anytime that right is threatened, we have to stop and say, wait a second. Are we whittling away at the basis of the Constitution of this country? On that issue, I will speak up. On that issue, I will act. So I'm letting you know where my stand is on that because I want you to understand where I'm coming from. On other side issues, no. But on basic freedom, that's it. Because here's what I've come to understand more than anything, is that I'm a huge fan of Dr. DeMartini. Anyone who's been coming here for a while knows that. Everyone here knows that I'm really all about individual values, that when we understand our top 5 values and we live from those values, we live the life of our dreams because we're willing to go through anything to achieve what we desire there. But here's what I've come clearly beyond, I'll share, my top values are spiritual self-actualization, teaching and speaking about how to better self-love through conscious living, building a spiritual community that supports how to better self-love through conscious living, health and wellness, and living a financially free and abundant life where I can do all that I want, when I want, and how I want. Those are my values. Everything I do goes to that. But do you know what the core of that is? Freedom. The spiritual essence of every human being on the planet is to be free. And what I'm inviting you today to do is to start thinking from a place of freedom. Do not sacrifice your freedom to be a part of a family, to be a part of a neighborhood, to be a part of a business, to be a part of a group, an organization, because the second you are molded into them, you're sacrificing. You can dance, but don't give up your freedom. You are here to be an individual. And when you are an individual, you have the power. When you are not an individual, you are giving your power away to the law of averages, and you will have an average existence. And when you have an average existence, you will be miserable. So this means question everything. Question everything all the time. Be questioning everything. Question the very idea, is there a power and a presence within me? Is there this thing we call God? You question it until you come to your understanding. Not Lee's understanding, not the president's understanding, not any other religious understanding, not your teachers, not your parents' understanding, but what is it in you that is desiring to be made known? Because until you do that, you are not free. I guarantee you right now, if you are struggling in any aspect of your life, it's because you do not feel free. I share with you this. If you can close your eyes, if you could meditate on just the idea of releasing all thoughts. See, when you release all thoughts, there's nothing tugging at your mind. There's nothing tugging at your emotions. And in that state, you are totally free. Everything that's pulling on you is created by your inner perception. When you release your thoughts, the perception goes away and the freedom returns within you. You are a whole and perfect expression of God. Just as you are. And this infinite power and presence that we call God does nothing but accept you as you are. It has given each of us the very power to create our lives. And so I embody that. I embody that power in me. I embody that power in you. And I now see infinite wisdom in me, in you, guiding and directing every thought, every word, and every action. I see that each person and myself is supported in our quest for that perfect life, for our perfect life. I see that anything that is unlike it, that's a challenge, is seen as that. It's a passing thought. It comes in and it moves out because it's not serving that inner burning, that inner desire. And when it's not serving, it's no longer required, so we let it go. We give ourselves the freedom right here, right now, by letting go of all those thoughts, all those ideas, all of our past that is no longer serving who we are. We let it go. And it just falls away. And in the newness, we breathe in the idea of love. We breathe in the idea of peace. We breathe in the idea of wisdom. We breathe in the idea of clarity. We breathe in the idea of peace. And we surrender our lives to that inner truth, to that inner beingness that is calling us, that's saying, I am here, and I'll support you. I'll love you. I'll defend you, and I'll create your life now. And in that stillness, our hearts open, and we grow into a state of gratitude. Because there's nothing else to do now but to give thanks. And so we literally bless this idea that we are one with God. We bless this idea that there's a power and a presence within us. We bless this idea that we are divinely guided and living a life of our dreams. In this moment, from now forward, we bless that we are free. And that feels so good. So very good. And so now, in this state of consciousness, of freedom, of gratitude, of empowerment, we now speak this prayer into the law and know that it is done. And we let it go. And letting it go, it is complete. I bless it, I call it good. And together with you, we affirm it saying, and so it is. I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask that you go to our website, agapecsl.com. Once there, click on the donate button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. Or if you would like, text your gift by simply dialing 972-532-6976. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to you in the world. I would ask that if you like this message, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel under my name, Lee Wolak. Again, I want to thank you for joining me in the Agape community as we learn how to better self-love through conscious living.